the scopes of what it is we're going to do. So in front of you is most of the bits that we need to do the project with. So these 6 coaches came in a job lot, and I don't really like them as such. I know they're fitting in sort of, I don't know, 19 to 1920s or something, but they're not normal practice for my era. So I don't want to throw them away, and I decided that I do want to do something with them. So they've arrived. 2 of them, one had no roof, the other one had a damaged roof, as you can see. So we bought off eBay 2 resin printed. They are nice, but you can kind of see the layering lines in them, so I'm going to try and sand that back a bit. One of them had the wrong chassis on, didn't match the rest of them, and one of them has a little bit of a break right there. You can make that out. So we're going to have to do a bit of a repair on that one. So what's the plan? First things first, wheels out. I want the wheels out. I want all the decouplings off, which other than that one or two of them are riveted on, the rest are moulded. So they've got to go so we can put NEMs in them. Weights. I've gone through my box because I put my own weights in. So I have here 12 weights. One always would sit inside there, but I am going to put one in there, and I'm going to hot glue them in both sides so I know they cannot shift. Why am I hot gluing as opposed to anything else? Because I've got some ridges to contend with, so the hot glue will give its own level. So wheels off, weights in, couplings off. We'll set up later for the NEMs, but then I'm going to basically give them all a coat of primer. I like to get things in primer so I know where I'm at to begin with, which will mean the weights will also be sprayed, and then eventually these will go black. Or my favourite new one, NATO black. So the coaches themselves. The glass is a part of the roof, but I want to be able to have open windows on the doors. Therefore, I'm going to just put, can't think of the word for the stuff right now. But anyway, that clear plasticky stuff that you do slideshows with, can't think of it. I want those so that I can show these doors as being partial, these windows partially opened. And I'm going to put a little silver metallic line across to show as if it's the metal top of the window. Now, those of you who know these also know this is what they look like internally. There is nothing in them. So I got my son, Mitchell, with a quick sketch and some measurements from me to design this. Now it's very basic. There are no sloping seats. Didn't want it looking absolutely amazing. I wanted a quick job. And the point is to literally drop them in like that. So if you look from the sides, the middle of the seats and the ends are hidden by 1, 2, 3, 4 panels. So you cannot see them at all, but that's what it looks like inside, which means I can put seated figures in. Because they are a separate item, I can also prime them, and then I'm going to paint them a different colour before the figures go in. The carriages will be the same colour inside and out. I'm not really bothered about what they are, but I do have a colour which is right here. So it's Tetrion's Mid Blue. Why have I gone for that colour? Well, like I told you at the beginning, this isn't a real train. It's not based on a real train. This is completely and utterly fictitious. I'm going to call this, believe it or not, the Family Express. So the loco will be the same colour. It will be blue. and this is my £9 job off eBay, which does run, but it is missing some of its valve gear, etc. But I have that. It does have pizza cutter wheels, but I have a way of reducing them. So that's going to come out. And even though the motor works, I have already in my box a replacement for an XO3 and an XO4 from Peter's Spares. So we're going to put that in, so we've got a much nicer motor. We're going to clean all of this up. We're going to take off these crappy lines here, denoting handrails on the doors, and moulded on one there, and doesn't have, oh no, it does, it has one across the front of the box. But I want to put my own lines on, and I want to put it around the front and then down the side. I will be covering the windows with Perspex or that other stuff that I can't remember. We've got a coal load to go in it because it's completely empty. Well, I want to make this fairly detailed. These steps are going to go because they're garbage and I don't like them, so I'll cut them clean off. I've got metal steps in amongst my stuff that I can put together and fit on here. I might see if I've got some very small ones to go on the front there, as there normally would be, and maybe a handrail. I don't know about that yet. I've got to figure out where to secure this front end, because at the moment it's a piece of wire and we do need it available to open up easily come for servicing. So there's the basics. So as I said, that'll be blue, not a railway blue, a random blue that I've picked, and it's going to be, all of these will be detailed out with white. So I've just today got an order from Fox Transfers. I've got some random straight lines, I've got the bends so that I can copy this and maybe copy that. I'll put my own number in, but the loco will carry a name, and each of these will have a headboard, a destination headboard, if you like. That destination headboard, I don't know yet whether I'm going to do it out of plastic card or whether I might print something that's got a frame around it, but it's going to be blue and it's going to have white lettering, and every coach will be my wife and the 5 children with them. Right, okay, so I've explained that this is not your usual train, so I'm going to say it again. We are not trying to copy something or make anything look like it was on the real world, because it doesn't exist. I'm calling this the Family Express. Why? Because I've got 6 coaches in a job lot and I don't know what else to do with them. So I decided with my 6 coaches that I didn't really want and my £9 loco, I'm going to make something that I'm happy with, that can put on my layout, called the Family Express, and we're going to have a headboard made for it. Why the Family Express? Because the engine will be called Paul, and each of the coaches will be my wife and all of my children's names written on them. So at this point, if you're now sitting looking at the screen thinking, what's he doing? That's not realistic. Well, you know what? Turn off. I'm not asking you to watch it. It's as simple as that. Turn off. My videos are always the same. It's me showing you what I'm doing with my model railway. And if you're not happy, then it's simple, isn't it? Go and watch another video. I don't need you to watch mine. It doesn't bother me whether you do or you don't. It's just me showing you a story. And I thought people might be interested to see that I'm going to do something that will probably ruffle feathers, but hey ho, don't care. So, time for an update off for you. So, I want to get on. I'm desperately trying to make sure I don't fall into the trap that I did last video, where I'm pushing for time, and I'm now not going to be trying to be conscious of trying to get too much done to get in a video. If it's a shorter video, it's less time that you're bored. So let's talk about what we've done. You remember these, which our Mitchell designed for me. These that fit into the coaches, basic seating. The coaches don't come with anything in them, so we've printed these off and I think I did this last time, but as you can see they drop nicely into there. So I've used the same blue that I had on my Insel fish wagons. I've just painted the middle of the floor in brown. Not gonna do anything more with them other than to put people in. So let's just move them to the side and get on to the chassis. So there you go. Now if you remember, there wasn't a great deal wrong with these, although one of them did have its corner bust off, which we got a piece of card the same thickness. I made a straighter cut because it was a break, glued a piece on, and then just literally trimmed it to size. We have added weights to the underneath, so these are them stick-on car alloy wheel balance weights, and on there we've got 15. So I'm thinking that with them and then the little tiny bit of weight here and the people, that should make a bit of a difference. So there's your chassis, and here are the seating arrangements, and I've just noticed one's missing. There it is. I've noticed that. So yeah, that's your basic update. That was pretty easy. Bit of sanding, fiberglass pencil on these, wash in soap and water, do the repair, take the couplings off, and also I've just remembered, I'd said that some of the chassis were slightly different in that they didn't have this, two of them didn't have this bar here. Easily rectified, bit of plastic card, super glued on, job's done. So the only thing left to do with these now is to build a box structure at each end to mount my couplers. Now I've been toying with whether I should put NEM pockets and then pop the clips in, but these are always going to stay as the 6 and they're never ever going to be run with anything else. So I'm kind of thinking I'm just going to glue on the NEM, glue on the magnetic coupler. I am going to use Porterhouse Engineering's flexible ones because they're rigid coach and I'd like to have a little bit of flex in there. So yeah, I'm going to put them to one side because I have zero intentions of doing, well, I might have intentions. I might put the people in today. Right, so the actual coach bodies. This was the blue spray can that I just randomly bought. I wanted it blue. So we give them a good clean and a good wash up. I haven't done the bottom. What is the point? They're going to be sitting on the frame, so I don't see the point in wasting the paint and clogging up these with additional paint, which will make it harder to get on and it'll scratch when it comes off. So there you go. But I have sprayed them internally as well. I want them the same colour inside. Now the one issue, if you remember, was we had one didn't have a roof and one had a badly damaged roof. I did have 2 replacements, but then the issue I had was, and I didn't know this genuinely, the roof is also attached to the glazing. So I found that out. I took all of them out, and boy, were they difficult to get out. You had to push the glazing in, and then try and lift and push and lift and push, and eventually it come out. But a lot of the glazing I had, for some reason, had been painted over, and I thought, there's no way I'm going to get this off and make it look like new. So what I did when I got the roofs off was I cut the glazing section off. But the only way I had at the time to cut it off was using my Dremel cutter, which doesn't really cut plastic, it more melts it. That left me with a lot of debris and an awful lot of cleaning up, which I thought would be a nightmare to get it to fit back in. So they've been put in the you'll get used sometime bin, and I've bought another 4 brand new replacement roofs, and they are just roofs. On here I'm just going to use acetate, but I would like 1 or 2 door windows half open, just for a bit of realism. So right now, I'm happy with them. I can't do any more because I'm waiting for the other 4 roofs to come. They are going to get sprayed white. This wagon, coaches and loco, are just going to be blue and white, and you'll see whatever else we're doing when we come to that stage. So there you go. You've got all 6 fully painted. I'm not doing anything else yet. What we'll be left to do is to highlight on the panels, put the coach name on it, put a little running number on it. And the other thing I must say is when these are done, they are going to be done in a gloss. I want these to look pristine and clean and exactly what they are, or what they're meant to be, show coaches. We will do some weathering on the underframes, and we will do some weathering over the white roofs. But yeah, again, not planning on anything on that today. I've got a number of things I want to get done. Right, this will make some of your screen. There's the chassis, literally as I took it out. And I can already hear people screaming, "What's he done? He sprayed all of that black." Yeah, I know I have. But if you remember, I don't have any. I don't have the complete set on that side. So I bought a second-hand set. So it's had a light spray, and all of this black and the frames off the coaches are done with Tamiya's NATO black. I really like this product. It's nice to put on. It's not that jet black. It's not dark. It sets with a not quite a matte finish, but I just like the colour. So I really do like the idea of the black wheels on this and the black underframe. And I don't know, maybe I might look at spraying up the new ones in the black, and keeping it as an all black frame. I just think it might look different. Now, the one thing we have got the problem with, which I mentioned before, was this piston box here is missing on that side, and it seems apparently it was a sliding piece, or it might have been connected to this, and it's no longer there. Now, before, when me and Mitch were looking at it, we thought it was just the box that was missing, but it seems to be a whole unit. So now I've got this off, I can take this off and we can design and 3D print our own that matches each side then. The only other thing is I want to take the motor off. The motor did run and probably still will if I clean the contacts. But I said all along that I have a Peters spares. I have an XO3 and an XO4. I bought them a while ago because I wanted to see what they'd be like. So one of them is going to go into here. So this here will be the floor of the cab, which is great, and I will explain why in a second. So again, right now, not going to do a lot with that. We are going to get out of designing this piston box thing and get that printed off. And now we've got the pony truck, and whichever way around it is, I can never remember. So these two have had a clean. They've had the couplings took off both sides. I obviously do not want any on the front, and I will want a magnetic on the rear. But they have plastic wheels. Not too keen on that. But while I was putting some things away yesterday after I'd done this stuff, I realised that I can replace these little plastic bogies with the Peters Spares Lomac wheels. They are the same size. They're metal. They don't have the big pizza cutters on the back of them, and they will fit into those. So that is what's going to happen with them. They're going to have a brand new wheel set put on. But then you say, but what about the old set that you've got on this? Okay, that's why I've done it this way around. Those of you who mess about will know that that's a flat wheel. But these have huge flanges. And here's my plan. I've seen this done somewhere else and I cannot remember where. We're going to put power to the motor and we're going to put a file to this flange. and we're going to let it rotate, and I'm going to gently file those in till they are a lot smaller. At the end of the day, these things are there for one reason, to stop it going, how can I put it, just to keep it inside the rails. It's the height that is the problem with them. So we're going to file them down, and yes, if I bugger it up completely, that's my problem. But if it works, brilliant. But if it doesn't, I don't care. I'll just look for a better set or some replacement wheels like the Romfords of a similar size. But I don't want to go blowing money when this was a £9 loco. So we're going to see how that goes. We're definitely going to see how that goes. I have thought about, as some of you know, I'm looking to go into a loft area in the next few months, and I do want a lot of stuff when I get up there, a lot of new tools, one of which would be a small hobby pillar drill, and I could dismantle these and put the axle with one wheel on, let the drill do the rotating while I do that. But we're not at that stage yet, and I really don't have the space to put one in now. So there's my plans. That's the chassis. And let's get to the most important part, the loco body. So when you last saw this, it was it? I can't remember. I think it was still green. So she's had a good wash. I have took off all the moulded lines that you could see in various places and sanded them down. I have removed the moulded on handrails there, the moulded on handrails here. You will also notice, for those of you that were sharp-eyed, the door's gone. I didn't like the door because it had moulded on handrails fitted in the doors, which were bloody awful. And I want at least one of the crew to be stood here. So I've cut the doors off completely. I just didn't like them. We have repaired this front end that was badly cracked. This fixture here that holds the front end on, I don't have the nut for it. So what I'm going to do on the chassis is tap that out as an M2, I hope. I'd rather it was an M2 than a 3. Likewise do the same there and try and countersink it a little, because whatever I put in, I want it to sit flush. We put new buffers on. There still is. There's a crack in the bumper there, which I have yet to fill in. We put a metal hook on with the chains on it. I think I said buffers. I took all the old ones off, didn't like them. I wanted some with a bit more length. So we've got that. And then we've give it a coat of primer, because I want to look at it in this form. It gives me an idea of where I'm going. So like I said, handrails to go on, handrail to go on there. I was going to change the front end and put a real lock handle on, but it's so small, and if I put another one, are you going to notice? No. I was going to make a headboard with Family Express on, but why? It's got a moulded in running number on there, so why am I going to bother doing that? So it's a little bit of a decision between how much work do you want to give yourself and how much can you avoid. But the plan is the body will be the same blue as the coaches, and then obviously the front end in black, copper top chimney. We'll clean these, or we'll just repaint them back into brass. We are going to put glass in here. Obviously on the driver's side we'll have that little pop-out glass that the driver can stick his head out without getting his head blown off, and the same at the back. We've got steps on the back end, so I'm happy to leave them there, but we will, just for the sake of it, hang a couple of lights, and we'll put lamp holders on here and stick, I might put one there so it would kind of cover where not over it, but cover where the screw would be. Or I could just sit it on top and break it if I need access later. I haven't decided how many lights. I know there's people out there be shouting, "Oh, you can't run it with those kind of combinations because it's not." Well, it doesn't. I don't care. It's my model railway, so I'll put lights where I want to. I'm deliberating over one up here. Sometimes I like to see them on a loco up there, and sometimes I don't. So that'll be a hit and miss job. So that is where I've gotten to in the time I've had so far. Thank you very much to the new subscribers who've joined the channel. I am now only, he says, only 89 subscribers away from 1,000. So thank you to every single one of you that's ever subscribed to the channel. I appreciate that, and I never ever imagined that I would get to 1,000. So when we do get to that magic number, I did say there'll be a giveaway, and when I get to I get to about 960, something like that, I'll bring out what it is that I'm going to give away, and I'm going to do a video, as I've said, about servicing it, making sure it's running nice, and then everyone will know what the gift's going to be. Thank you for watching this video, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it, and when it's finished, yes, it will not be prototypical, but it was never meant to be. It's just a daft little thing that I want to do, and it's something different. We're not copying real life. We are making the rules up as we go along here. And I just want this £9 loco and these cheap little coaches to become just one little special, completely different item on the railway. Time to go. Thanks, folks. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. Bye for now.